I woke up that morning believing it was just another normal Wednesday. I had no idea that by the end of the day my whole life would be destroyed beyond repair. It was March 15th, Mark's 34th birthday. I stood in our kitchen, coffee cup in hand, watching my husband fix his tie in the hallway mirror. He caught my eye and smiled, that same soft smile that had made me fall in love with him 7 years ago. "Don't forget, Em," he said, walking over to kiss my forehead. "I'm leaving work early today. Let's do something special tonight, just the two of us. 7 o'clock. "Sure," I mumbled, already distracted by my phone buzzing in my hand. That's when I saw Daniel's message. "Hey Emma, in town for one night only. Dinner at Romano's, 7 p.m., for old time's sake." Daniel Reed, my college friend, someone I hadn't seen in 5 years. My thumb hovered over the screen. Mark was still talking about his day, something about a new project at the architecture firm, but I wasn't really listening anymore. The invitation from Daniel felt exciting and impulsive, something different from my usual predictable routine. Just dinner, I told myself. What's the harm? I texted back, "See you at 7. Mark kissed me goodbye and headed out the door. I stood there, phone in my hand, already ignoring the small voice in my head telling me this was wrong. At work, I spent the entire day justifying my decision to myself. During our marketing meeting, Becca, my best friend and coworker, noticed I was barely paying attention. "You okay?" she asked, her brown eyes concerned. "You've been staring at your phone all morning." I shrugged, trying to sound casual. "Mark's birthday is tonight, but an old college friend just texted me. He's only in town for one night. I'm thinking about meeting him for dinner instead." The words hung in the air between us. Becca's expression shifted from concern to disbelief. "Emma, are you serious? It's Mark's birthday. He's your husband." "I know, but we've been together 7 years, Becca. We've celebrated 6 birthdays already. Missing one won't be a big deal. Mark will understand. He always understands." "That's not the point," she said, her voice dropping. "You're choosing to spend his birthday with another man. How is that okay?" I felt defensive, cornered. "It's just dinner with an old friend." "You're making it sound like something it's not." Becca shook her head but didn't push further. I could see the disappointment in her eyes, though. Even she thought I was wrong. At lunch, I texted Mark. "Something came up at work, might be really late tonight. Don't wait up for me." The lie came easily. Too easily. His response was immediate. "I took the afternoon off so I could come home early. I have something special planned for us. Just you and me, Em. I can't wait." Guilt twisted in my stomach, sharp and uncomfortable. But I'd already committed to Daniel. It was just one dinner. Mark would be fine. Romano's looked exactly as I remembered. Soft lighting, gentle Italian music, the rich smell of garlic and wine filling the air. Daniel was already there, sitting in a corner booth looking polished and successful in his tailored navy suit. When he saw me, he stood immediately, his face lighting up. "Emma, wow, you look amazing." We hugged, and for just a moment I felt 22 again. Young, carefree, unburdened. "You look great too," I said, sliding into the booth across from him. "It's been way too long." 5 years, he said, shaking his head. "I can't believe it's been that long." We ordered wine and fell into easy conversation. We talked about college memories, mutual friends, career changes. He told me about his recent divorce. "I never thought it would happen to me, you know," Daniel said, his blue eyes sad. "You think you really know someone, and then one day you realize you never did." "She left me for a guy from her gym." "I'm so sorry," I said softly. He took a sip of wine. "What about you?" "Still with Mark?" "Yeah, married 7 years now." "How's that going?" I hesitated, then found myself complaining about things I'd never said out loud before. "It's good, I mean, we're fine. But sometimes I feel like we're just roommates, you know? He works all the time. We've fallen into this routine where everything feels automatic." I can't remember the last time we had a real conversation. Daniel leaned forward, giving me his full attention. "That's tough. You deserve to feel appreciated, Emma." His words made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in months. We kept talking, laughing, reminiscing. The hours slipped away unnoticed. Then I glanced at my phone. 8:47 p.m. 3 missed calls from Mark. My stomach dropped like a stone. I have to go, I said suddenly, my voice panicked. Daniel reached across the table, his hand covering mine. It was really good seeing you, Emma. Let's not wait another 5 years, okay? I pulled my hand away quickly, the weight of what I'd done suddenly crushing me. I really have to go. I drove home with my heart hammering in my chest, rehearsing explanations in my head. Each one sounded worse than the last. It was just after 9 when I pulled into our driveway. The house was mostly dark except for the living room light. I took a deep breath and walked inside. Mark was sitting on the couch, still in his work clothes. On the coffee table in front of him sat a small birthday cake with unlit candles. The sight of it broke something inside me. He looked up when I entered, and the expression on his face made me freeze in place. It wasn't anger. It was worse. It was disappointment and profound, devastating hurt. "Mark, I'm so sorry," I started, words tumbling out. "Work ran really late and there was this crisis with the Henderson account and don't." His voice was quiet but ice cold. "Don't lie to me, Emma." My mouth went dry. "What do you mean?" He held up his phone. "James called me. He was at Romano's tonight with some friends. He saw you there with another man. He said you two looked cozy." The room tilted. James, Mark's younger brother, of all the people, of all the restaurants in this entire city. "It wasn't what it looked like," I said desperately. "He's just an old friend from college. We were just catching up. Nothing happened, Mark. I swear nothing happened." Mark stood up slowly, his movements controlled. "You missed my birthday to have dinner with another man. You lied to me about working late, and you're standing here still lying to my face." Tears started streaming down my cheeks. I made a mistake. "I'm so sorry. Please, Mark." He walked past me toward the stairs, not even looking at me anymore. "I can't do this right now. I'm sleeping in the guest room." "Mark, wait, please. Can we just talk about this?" He stopped halfway up the stairs and turned. There were tears in his eyes now, too. "I came home early to surprise you. I bought your favorite wine, that expensive one you love. I made reservations at Chez Anton, that French place you're always talking about. I spent all afternoon setting things up, planning everything." His voice cracked. "And you chose him over me." "It wasn't a choice," I whispered. "Yes, it was," he said. "And you made it." He went upstairs. I heard the guest room door close, and the sound echoed through our empty house like a gunshot. The next 3 days were torture. Mark left early for work before I woke up and came home late after I'd gone to bed. When we were in the same room, the silence was suffocating. I tried everything. Apologies, explanations, tears. Nothing worked. He wouldn't even look at me. On the 4th day, I came home from work to find him packing a suitcase. "What are you doing?" Panic rose in my chest like flood water. "I'm staying at my mom's for a while," he said without looking at me. "We need space." "No, Mark, please, we can work through this. It was just dinner. Nothing physical happened." "I didn't cheat on you." He finally looked at me, and his eyes were completely empty. "That's what you don't understand, Emma. Something did happen. You chose to spend my birthday with someone else. You lied to me. You prioritized a man you haven't seen in 5 years over your husband. That's what happened." I grabbed his arm. "I love you. I made a terrible, stupid mistake, but I love you so much." He pulled away gently. "I've spent 7 years making you my priority, Emma. I thought you felt the same way about me. But that night showed me I was wrong about us." He picked up his suitcase and walked toward the door. "I need time to think about whether I can ever trust you again." The door closed behind him, and I collapsed on the floor, sobbing until I couldn't breathe. My phone buzzed, a text from Becca. "How did things go with Mark?" I couldn't even respond. I'd ruined everything. The following week was the loneliest of my entire life. I called Mark repeatedly, but he rarely answered. When he did pick up, our conversations were brief and cold. "Mark, please come home. We need to talk about this." "I'm not ready, Emma." "When will you be ready?" "I don't know." "I need more time." Work became unbearable. I couldn't focus, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Everything reminded me of him. Becca tried to comfort me during lunch breaks. Maybe he just needs some space, she said, though her voice lacked real conviction. You guys have been together 7 years. That has to count for something, right? But I could see the doubt in her eyes. Even my best friend thought I'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. My younger sister Amy called one evening. Mom told me what happened. Emma, what the hell were you thinking? I don't know, I whispered into the phone, my voice hollow. I thought it wouldn't matter. I thought Mark would understand. He's your husband, Amy said, frustration clear in her voice. You don't just skip his birthday to have dinner with another man, even if it was innocent. How would you feel if Mark did that to you? The question hit me like a physical blow. If Mark had missed my birthday to have dinner with an old female friend, I would have been devastated, furious. How had I convinced myself this was different? On Friday, exactly 2 weeks after that awful night, Mark finally called. Can we meet? He asked. My heart leapt with desperate hope. Yes, of course. Where, when? The coffee shop on Maple Street, tomorrow at 10. His voice was formal, distant, like I was a business appointment. I'll be there, I said quickly. Okay, see you then. He hung up before I could say anything else. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold my car keys. When Mark walked in at exactly 10 o'clock, I barely recognized him. He'd lost weight, had dark circles under his eyes. We'd both been suffering, but somehow that didn't make me feel any better. We sat across from each other, 2 coffees between us that neither of us touched. Emma, he started, his voice careful and measured. I've spent the last 2 weeks thinking. I talked to my brother, my mother, even went to see a therapist. My heart was racing so fast I thought I might pass out. And I can't do this anymore. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. What do you mean? I whispered, even though I already knew. I want a divorce. Tears immediately filled my eyes and spilled down my cheeks. No, Mark, please. It was one mistake, one stupid dinner. I never cheated on you. Nothing physical happened. I know you didn't physically cheat, he said, his voice breaking slightly. But you betrayed me, Emma. You chose someone else on my birthday. You lied to me. And what hurts the most is that you didn't even think it mattered. That's what I can't get past. I do think it matters, I said desperately. I was stupid and selfish. I took you for granted. But I love you, Mark. I love you so much it hurts. He looked at me with sad, tired eyes. I loved you too, more than anything in this world. But I can't be with someone who doesn't value me the way I value them. I deserve better than being someone's second choice. You're not my second choice. You're everything to me. He shook his head slowly. If that were true, you would have been home that night. He pulled an envelope from his jacket and slid it across the table. My name was written on the front in unfamiliar handwriting. My lawyer drew up the papers. I'm not trying to be vindictive or cruel. You can have whatever you want from the house. I just want this to be over. I stared at the envelope like it was a bomb. I won't sign them. I won't give up on us. Then I'll wait the required separation period and file anyway, he said quietly. Emma, please don't make this harder than it already is. We both know it's over. He stood up. Goodbye, Emma. I truly hope you find what you're looking for. I watched him walk out of the coffee shop, and with him went 7 years of my life, my future, my home, everything. The next month was a blur of misery and numbness. I moved into a small 1-bedroom apartment, taking only what I absolutely needed. Mark kept the house. I didn't have the heart or energy to fight him for it. Our mutual friends didn't know what to say to me. Most of them quietly sided with Mark, and I couldn't blame them. I'd become the villain in my own story. At work, my performance tanked. David, my boss, called me into his office. Emma, I know you're going through something personal, but your work has been slipping badly. The Harrison campaign was a complete disaster. I'm sorry, I said numbly. I'll do better, but I didn't know if I could. Everything in my life felt meaningless without Mark. Becca tried to take me out to cheer me up somehow, but I was just a ghost of my former self. Have you heard from him at all? She asked gently one evening over drinks I wasn't touching. I shook my head. Just emails from his lawyer about the divorce proceedings. That's it. What about Daniel? She asked carefully. Have you talked to him since that night? I laughed bitterly, the sound hollow and broken. I reached out once to tell him what happened. You know what he said? That's rough, good luck with everything. 3 sentences, that's all I got. The man I destroyed my marriage for gave me 3 sentences and disappeared. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. I'd thrown away everything for someone who didn't even care. 3 months after that devastating coffee shop meeting, I saw Mark again, but not intentionally. I was at the grocery store, mindlessly pushing a cart through the aisles when I heard his laugh. That warm, genuine laugh I hadn't heard in months. I turned and saw him 2 aisles over with a woman. She was pretty, with dark hair and kind eyes, and she was smiling at something he'd said. Sophie Martinez. I recognized her from photos on his company's website. She was his coworker. They weren't holding hands or being overtly romantic, but there was an ease between them, a comfort that made my chest tighten painfully. He looked happy, healthier than when I'd last seen him. He'd moved on. I quickly turned my cart around, abandoning my shopping, and practically ran to my car. Sitting in the parking lot, I sobbed until I couldn't breathe anymore. He'd replaced me, found someone who probably valued him, who would never miss his birthday for another man, who wouldn't take his love for granted. That evening, I finally signed the divorce papers. What was the point in fighting anymore? I'd lost him completely and permanently. A week later, Becca came over with wine and Chinese takeout. I heard through the grapevine that the divorce is finalized, she said carefully. I nodded, staring at the wine glass in my hand. It's done. It's officially over. How are you feeling? Empty, I admitted. Like I destroyed the best thing in my life over absolutely nothing. Daniel meant nothing. That dinner meant nothing. But it cost me everything that mattered. Emma, you made a mistake. A mistake that ruined my entire life, I interrupted. Mark was perfect. He loved me completely, unconditionally, and I treated that love like it was expendable. Like I could just take it for granted and it would always be there waiting for me. Tears streamed down my face. I see it now. I see everything I had and everything I lost. But it's too late. 6 months after the divorce, I'm still living in my small apartment, still working the same job, still completely alone. I've learned to function, to get through each day, but the regret never leaves. It's a constant companion, a heavy weight I carry everywhere I go. I see Mark occasionally. This city is that big. He's still with Sophie, and they look genuinely happy together. It hurts every single time, but I've accepted it. This is my karma. This is what I deserve. Amy visits sometimes, trying to help me move forward. You have to forgive yourself eventually, she says. But I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should. I replay that night endlessly in my mind. If I had just said no to Daniel. If I had just gone home to Mark. If I had prioritized the man who loved me over a nostalgic dinner that meant absolutely nothing. One dinner. One selfish choice. That's all it took to destroy a 7-year marriage. People tell me I'll find love again, that I'll move on, but I don't want to. Mark was it for me. He was my person, my home, my future, and I threw him away like he didn't matter. It's been a year now since that night. A year since I missed Mark's birthday. A year since I made the worst decision of my life. I'm still alone, still filled with crushing regret. Mark is engaged to Sophie now. I saw the announcement on social media. They look perfect together. And that's the hardest part, knowing he found someone who treats him the way he always deserved. I don't date, I don't even try. How can I when I know what I'm capable of? When I know how easily I can take love for granted and destroy it? This is my story. Not a story of redemption, or moving on, or finding myself. Just a story of devastating loss and permanent regret. I missed my husband's birthday to meet another man. He came home early and ended our marriage. And I've been paying for that choice every single day since. If I could go back, I would do everything differently. I would rush home, throw my arms around Mark, and never let him doubt my love for even a second. But I can't go back. I can only move forward, carrying this lesson with me. Some mistakes can't be fixed. Some losses are permanent. Some loves, once lost, are gone forever. This is mine.